Or, thank you. Now that we're recording, I call to order the Board of Selectmen meeting of January 2nd, 2024 at 6 p.m. Let's start off with pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now, objection, I'd like to add an item under new business to discuss the reevaluation of the town. We have to do that every 5 years, and I believe it's been 6 already because we've gotten our 1-year extension, so we're not getting another one. We will be adding that under new business. Then the other change I'd like to make to the agenda is I'd like to move the fire department, old business volunteer fire department personnel tax abatement ordinance amendment to the beginning, if you don't mind, and right after approval of minutes. Nope, let's do it before correspondence. So, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of December 18th?
Motion to approve minutes of December 18th.
Second, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Is there anybody present to speak? Online? Seeing no hands, we'll move on. Correspondence, I don't believe the correspondence should be in your packet if we have any, and I don't believe we do for this meeting.
We have none.
We have none. First selectments, now we will move to the volunteer fire department abatement, tax abatement ordinance. What I'd like to do is move this to, let's start at the beginning. Connecticut Public Act 2189, I believe it is, was passed in 2021, changing the state statute under which our tax abatement ordinance was approved. The major changes in that statute being the major changes, there were several, were that it moved the tax abatement maximum from $1,000 to $2,000, and it made members with more than 25 years in the department eligible for abatement, whether they are making their response numbers or not. In the packet, you'll see that we have 2 copies here. One is from the lawyer with the changes, the last set of changes, and the other one is the final draft as approved by the lawyer. I've gone over this with Tom to make sure it's okay with the fire department. It's been changed to meet the legal definitions under the statute from what the fire department and the Emergency Services Efficiency Committee approved. Do you have anything you'd like to say, Chief?
No, it's just the incentive that's been ongoing for quite some time now. I think it was back in 2014 was the original one.
Right.
And it's helped retain and recruit members. That's all we're trying to do with it.
Mm-hmm. Also, I think that even at $2,000, that's fairly inexpensive. And it's not $2,000, it's up to $2,000. It comes off the revenue side instead of the spending side. So if the member doesn't even owe $2,000, they can only get up to what they owe. They don't get a check for the rest.
Right.
And it only occurs in the year that they have, so that if they have previous tax debt, it doesn't erase that either. It's only in the year. The other big change that we made was it used to be that we check numbers for responses from July 1st to June 30th. And then we'd have exactly 0 days to get the information compiled and to the tax assessor. for tax numbers. So we've changed that from January first to December 31st, so that there's 3 months for them to get the numbers to the assessors. The assessors can fill out the taxes and still make the, mailing on what people owe. So those are the two big changes. Any questions?
No, is that a copy of it?
Yes, and I believe there's a copy in your packet, and if not,
There should be a copy of the one that,
the final.
yeah, the final, I put them in there, but
You didn't get one for some reason.
check Andy's, there might be two,
You got two.
maybe.
How many members do we have?
Did it not
Active
get in
members,
there?
we probably have about
It
25.
didn't get it.
Oh, it's probably
Yeah,
still
but
sitting
like
on my
you said, I
printer.
mean, only a fraction of
Yeah.
that
I could
qualifies.
have sworn I
Yes.
popped it in there.
You know, homeowners and stuff like that. There's a lot of young kids that, don't have any liability at all.
The other thing is that it's not for like rental properties, it's only for real property that, and vehicles. Okay, so we'll be adding that to the town meeting call.
You guys are indemnified, right?
Yes,
I mean, the members.
yes.
I'm good with this piece, thank you.
Okay. So we will move that to town meeting, or do we may need a motion to move that to town meeting. I move that we move it to town meeting.
Second, that motion, to move the volunteer fire department personnel tax abatement ordinance to town meeting.
Very good. All in favor? Aye. Chief, you're good to go.
Thank you.
You can make your other meeting.
Yeah, I do have another meeting, so if there's no other questions,
No,
Thank you.
we're good.
super.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
We're 1/4 of the way towards our town meeting. So we move back to the first selectman status report.
Yeah.
I don't have much of a report. I can't fill up time, so, we're still, Shannon and I are still acclimating to our positions. We are, taking the training for I'm taking the training for new elected officials. I've got meetings set up to meet the surrounding, CEOs.
When's that meeting?
Oh. Yeah, that training's on Saturday, the 6th, I believe, this coming Saturday. I've got a meeting with town of Mansfield manager on the 8th and a meeting with the town of Tallinn manager on the 9th. I've been in touch with the, state police concerning that missing woman. They are still doing some investigation, so that's why they haven't released more information. I believe they plan to in the future. We're also getting ready for, emergency communications. I haven't delved deeply into the, I wanna say Eversource, but that's not right. Yeah, Everbridge. Yeah,
We were gonna get there eventually.
we were gonna get there. We had the right words, just not the right word. So we're getting Everbridge, Demus has a thing called, Web, Emergency Operations Center that I need to take a training for, that I'm still signing up for. As is Shannon. I'm looking into the animal control facilities to make sure that they're up to snuff. I'll be going over there for inspection later on. The truck, although brand new, is rarely if ever used.
Yeah.
And so it's got some issues because of it being rarely used. So I'm working with Troy to make sure that it's at least driven some, and that we need to have it, detailed, because right now it's filled with mouse excrement.
Great.
Because it's not being used, so we are going to take care of that. One of the topics that CROG, Capital Region Council of Governments, is pushing in this year is regionalization of some services, and one of those services is animal control officers. I think that may be to the advantage of both the towns and the animal control officers, but we'll see.
We already share, right?
We already share, but it's not, it's like we pay part-time and they pay part-time, but never we don't talk to each other. So that it makes it harder on the animal control officer because they've got two employers instead of one employer each paying part of it. So that's part of what I want to talk to Tom about. So that brings us to Public Works, I believe, who fixed the door on my office today. For that, I thank them. I've started looking into people to join a committee for the tricentennial, which is in 3 years. I've started talking to the fire departments about moving their building agenda along at a pace where we can start looking for state funding. I don't know how to, what the proper word is, the marijuana money.
Yeah.
That it can only be used for like 5 very specific things.
I read it, it's very general.
And one of those things is civic engagement.
Yes.
And I've gotten a call from a ruling from the state Senate, from Senator Jeff Gordon's office, that civic engagement is, there is no actual definition in the law.
Oh, good.
So, you cannot use it for equipment, paying debt, that kind of thing. But what I'm eyeing right now is this tricentennial celebration. Because it's not a huge amount of money, but we have to spend it legally.
Yeah, we have one. Do we know how much that's gonna be?
We've got one first payment coming in,
1.6% or something?
it's 3% of weed money, marijuana money.
3% of revenue, right?
Revenue, yes, and so I believe that for this year, it's around $1,000.
That's all.
It's 3,000 plus, 1,200, 1,400, something like that. I'm not. That's, I don't have it written down in front of me, so that's my gut remembrance.
Okay.
Public Works. They had storm cleanup from the last 2 storms, severe rainstorms. They've chipped the brush around town. After both these heavy rainstorms, we've been getting drainage across the road, which is freezing at night.
Yeah.
They've been having to do a fair amount of sanding on those
Did we have a problem with,
spots.
what's the road that John was on?
Mason?
Yeah.
We had some we had a massive washout there a couple of years ago. This storm, it was not bad. Very minor, yes, they did a nice job. They changed the drainage coming out of Mason onto Daleville School, and it really, we still have some issues in that area, but it's not too bad. They washed their trucks. I believe today they had 3 trucks go down and the heating system in the town garage go down. So they spent the day fixing those as well as my door.
Town garage heating system.
Yeah. They have a heating system that uses waste fuel, waste oil from because the heater went down, they had to drain the oil tank so that the heating guy could get into it. I don't. Anyways, they're dealing with it. Yeah. They washed the trucks, cleaned the basins off around town. They, dug out some waterways. They moved those carports from behind the school to behind the town garage to protect equipment back there, instead of just disposing of them, which I thought was a really good reuse.
Yeah.
They're getting ready for snow It's supposed to snow next Saturday, so they're getting ready for that. They picked up wood around town, that the contractor had left after removing hazardous trees, and they fixed some gravel roads ago. And that's the public works. Report. New business. We need to call a town meeting for the street sweeper for public works. This has been, recommended by on the recommendation of the Board of Finance. This is, the Board of Finance passed it once and they are passing it. They passed it, amended their, to use the NIPS money
So
to
we're
free
down,
that up. So, yeah,
down slightly.
yeah. So. It's an appropriation of $74,500 from the reserve fund. Oh, no, that's the wrong line. I am sorry. $74,178 from capital reserve fund for a used street sweeper to replace the one that we have essentially used up.
What's the use, do we know what the useful life of that is?
It's, I believe they said like 20 years. That's off the top of my head. It was a lot longer than I thought. So. Any questions on that?
So first, so we're gonna do these in order?
No, we're doing them in the order of on here, which is actually in reverse order of what's.
Okay.
No, it goes 4, 1, 3, 2, or something like that.
We kept changing them.
Yeah, I had 4 things and I could only keep 3 of them in my head at a time, so it was confusing Shannon.
Yeah.
So. I move that we move the street sweeper to town meeting.
Right. I'll second that. That's the one for 74,178 capital
Yes.
reserve fund.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Any more discussion?
One more discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, center school plumbing. Sending it to town meeting. This is $20,000 that has been approved by CIP and approved by the Board of Finance and passed through the budget, at least the 2020, the 23-24 budget. And so the items are on there, are on in the agenda. It's classroom sink and a women's room, sink, toilet, and a boys' toilet.
Where's the amount here?
It's $20,000. It's right, it's on the call. It's $20,000. That's what was headed up. These are in the order that the superintendent would like to prioritize them. So if the money runs out before it all's accomplished, he will have to find the remainder of it in his budget sometimes. So I move that we,
Just read it right out there.
yeah, I move that we see if the townspeople on the recommendation of the Board of Finance will authorize appropriation of $20,000 from the capital reserve fund to account number 04-4049 CES plumbing projects for plumbing at Center School.
And I will second that motion.
Any more discussion?
No more discussion.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Next item. Fire department requesting funds for a station placement study. I would move that we table that. Do I have a second on tabling?
Yeah, we can table that. Why are we tabling it?
That's because we don't know where the money's coming
We
from
talked
yet.
about this.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I understand. Yeah, move to table items, let's see, new business, C, fire department requesting funds for station placement study.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We all set? So we need to, what we're gonna do, yeah, we've already done 4 and 1.
Yeah, got it.
Oh, this is where we added in the item at the beginning,
The revale.
the reval.
Okay.
So the town Board of Finance sets aside so much money every year
Right.
to pay for the reval, because we know it's coming.
Right.
So-
wasn't it like 36,000 or 74,000? I can't recall.
Yeah, it's $74,500. It's now set aside. I believe the bid came in for the bid that we chose
Right. we
was
voted.
73.
Yep.
And we awarded that last time. The Board of Finance has now approved that,
Okay.
but they approved it at the full 74,500 because there's sometimes additional costs for mailing and
Mailing, stuff like that.
legal fees if somebody fights it, and that's typically what's been done in the past.
Right.
So I move that we call town meeting to see if the townspeople on the recommendation of the Board of Finance will authorize appropriation of $74,500 from the reserve fund to 044052 for the 2024 revaluation.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. While we are still on this, before we finish up the fire department request for studies, I would like to move that we see if the townspeople will authorize the amendment to town ordinance concerning the abatement of volunteer firefighters to comply with Connecticut Public Act 2183.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I believe that will get us to our town meeting. Which we have tentatively scheduled for Tuesday,
January 23rd.
January 23rd. That's when she's sitting. 2 weeks straight. All right, the last piece of new business. In accordance with Connecticut General Statute 7-342. Should the Board of Finance be unable to elect a position for chair, vice chair, or secretary that falls to the Board of Selectmen. So, to start discussion, I would move that we see Jeff Prusak as vice chair of the Board of Finance for this election cycle until they have re-elections for the next 2 years.
Next 2 years.
Yes.
That's November, 26. No,
5,
25.
November 2025.
I second that motion.
Any discussion?
I work with Jeff, Jeff is great.
I've been sat on the board with Jeff for a long time. I believe he will do an outstanding job, so do I. All in favor? Aye. Which brings us back to present to speak. And once again, let me see if I have my present to speak, to do here. Public participation is encouraged. Speakers are limited by appropriateness, staying on topic and maintaining decorum. Time may be limited to maintain progress. Is there anybody that is here for present to speak? There is nobody in the room. I see no hands online. Moving on. Good and welfare. Good and welfare. Mobile food share will be here at the town office building tomorrow, January 3rd, from 11 to 11:30. Residents will need to park and bring their own bags. Mobile food share is for any resident in Connecticut. 2, if anyone is looking to make charitable contributions to the Willington Fuel Bank, it is in serious need of funds to be able to assist our residents outside of any federal or state funding. Donations can be sent to the town office building marked Fuel Bank. They are accepting applications through the Human Services Department for Energy Assistance Program, and they'll start with the federal programs which are open and accepting applications. 3, bread share will start at 10 a.m. tomorrow, 1/3/24. Bread share will continue weekly and they'll still be open for 1 hour. Food share will continue at 11 a.m. every other week. Please adjust your calendar so not to miss the event. Just a reminder, bread share is for Wellington residents only. Do you have any other good or welfare?
No, I don't have any good at welfare, but I wanted to just ask how it went with the, at the senior center with the issues we had there.
Oh,
during last-
yes. The, lift pump for the septic.
Yeah,
There's 2 pumps. One of the pumps has gone bad. We've got a new pump on order. As soon as it comes in, they'll be installing it. We are looking to extend our contract with Whitewater, who is the company that brings clean water into the complex, who will extend their contract to taking dirty water back out of the complex and maintaining those pumps. So, I believe the contract extended to add the wastewater to the contract is, I believe, $2,000 a year. The pump is being paid for by the 3 areas down there. There's 3 different groups of money down there near the senior center, as I understand it now. And there is a fund to make sure that these things get replaced. So I don't believe it comes out of town funds. I am subject to correction on that.
terrific, thanks, appreciate the update.
No problem. It's one of those things I should have probably written in a note so I could bring it to you. Anything further?
Nothing here.
All right, there is no adjournment on here, but if I will entertain a movement to adjourn anyway.
Motion to adjourn.
I will second that.
Favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.